Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Yoga Sciences podcast and YouTube channel. I'm thrilled to have Monica Ciobanu
Yes, you got it.
today. She's currently located in London and she does a few things. One of them in particular is focus on clarity, mindset, and helping women to transition from burning out to basically being in the online space and helping them with like basically finding what they really want to do and then get rid of the burnout and then bring clarity into their lives to make everything else better. And thank you so much for being on with us today.
My pleasure. It's an honor to be here.
All right,
And
great.
it's Sunday, so I'm always up for a good chat.
Awesome. This won't be
Yeah.
posted today, though. It will be posted on Saturday, and I'm really glad you're here. And so let's get started with what got you wanting to do this and help other people to do this.
Okay, so when I was pretty much in my teenager years, I was always the one that people used to come for advice, which I was always thrilled to help others around, especially friends. Most of the time it was relationship advice or things related to social environment, how they interact with other people in their group of friends. So I find it interesting. I've always been attracted to these kind of things of helping others, guiding, creating that clarity into their environment to be able to take decisions based on a clear, precise image. So recently, a few months ago, I've actually bumped into a very good course of coaching, which kind of teaches you the tools to be able to help others in pretty much every aspect of their life. However, I decided to work with women in their 30s because I relate more to this. It's something that I feel I've been through. I'm in my early 30s. I've been through a few things. I deal with anxiety. I've dealt with stress. I've dealt with, those block moments when you cannot decide what you're going to do next. What's my purpose? My purpose, feeling that this is like a dead end. I cannot move forward in my career, in my personal life. And I felt that these things many people are actually dealing with, especially women, because I can relate more to them because I'm also a woman, and there are different changes in the body that creates a lot of stress for a woman in her 30s. So I feel that having that clarity and finding that purpose, it's very, very beneficial on many, many levels, so health-wise, mental and spiritual level as well.
That's great because I'm in my early 30s too, and I'm going through a transition period where I'm like, oh my goodness, I need some clarity because it's a lot,
Yeah.
so much to focus on. So how do you help women like us going through this transition in terms of what are some of the steps or like mindset activities to help them to find out the answer for themselves?
So for how I usually do this, I have a custom program based on the client needs. So because every person is different, I'm working now with a few clients. So different needs requires a different tailored program. So I'm not in a position to advise, for example. I'm not in the position to advise someone what to do, but I'm in the position to empower them to find the answers for themselves. So my role is to trigger those burning questions in their mind, to be able to find the answer for themselves, to be able to help them break those limiting beliefs that might prevent them getting clarity or pushing to the next level of their life, or breaking down that fear that they always had. So there are specific things that Sometimes it's not, they don't show up on the first meeting, on the first session. You have to dig deeper to actually find the cause of something that prevents them from, moving forward, or that keeps them stuck, keeps them anxious about something. So it's about finding, it's very personal in a way, because you go into that space in your mind where you actually have those fears, and you find the roots of those fears or blockages, and you understand them, and you have all the tools and the resources in the program to be able to tackle every single thing and move forward. So it's a very powerful way that is truly transformational. And I started because I applied these tools on myself to be able to move forward with my life, and I found it truly amazing, like something that you never learn in school, for example, and you never be able to get advice from a friend on these kind of things.
That's so true. Like everybody at some point needs a mentor and a coach just to help them out to get clarified. And sometimes, I mean, we know deep down inside, like subconsciously, whether it's subconsciously or consciously, we know what we should do. But then with everything else around us, and sometimes without somebody to talk to, or like a guide, that's they don't tap into what they really are meant to be or meant to do. So it's great that you're helping others to do that, just to basically get them back on track and laser focused goals, and just do what they want to do, right?
Yeah, and when you gain that clarity, you realize that things in your life are quite simple, because we tend to look at life as a whole, and that creates a clutter in our mind. It creates a bit of a chaos and unclarity. But if you break down your life by departments, you realize that you can tackle every single thing that relates to that part of your life. So it doesn't have to be as a whole, but looking at it fragmented, you'll be able to identify things that blocked you from moving forward, or stop you from having clarity, or uh, things that that prevent you from being a better version of yourself, really.
Right. So during the transition period, while they're trying to figure out what to do, so let's just say they have a few options and they're all related. So how do you help them narrow down to say, okay, this is the one that the person should focus on? Like, how do they tune in to that specific thing and say, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to dedicate my time to it. I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to be consistent with this one topic rather than doing a few things at the same time, even though they're all related.
Yeah, so the first step would be identifying. Asking the right questions for a coach is essential to be able to help the client identify himself, the things that he struggled with. And afterwards, it's a matter of building the foundation for the actual solution, if it's the case, or asking more questions that will identify resources that that person needs in order to be able to move forward. And one of my main role is to keep them accountable in their process. So it's a vital part of the process, as well as them taking action, because nothing happens if you are not taking action towards changing something, because our brain is it's changing every second. We are able to change our life. This is possible. Change is possible. And that's the beauty of it. We empower ourselves by taking the decisions that we take every day to be able to shape our life in a direction that we decide, not the external environment. So we empower ourselves to be able to take decisions for ourselves, which is powerful. It's something that we are not being taught to. We're
So
not
true.
taught in a school or even family most of the time. So it's very important to take that power back.
That's so true. It's because the accountability, especially, like you can coach them, you can guide them, but then without the accountability, sometimes things get in the way, and they don't take the action, even though they're aware of what they should be doing. So the accountability part, how do you keep them accountable? Do you do like weekly calls? Do you check up on them once in a while, or how frequently?
So yeah, we do have weekly calls. However, we do have also messaging or emails that I'm offering them support. So yeah, messaging is it's also part of the coaching program that I'm offering. So it's important to have that support to be able to say, okay, my coach is there when I need him, and he's able to back me up when I'm not able to be to take those steps that I said I will.
Mm-hmm.
So giving that extra boost of motivation, reminding them the initial purpose of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the building that support.
That's
For sure.
great. Is there like a particular, do you follow routines? Like, is routine important for you, and for, that you tell your clients as well?
It's normally a day of the week where they are able to make it, and I also check my agenda, so it's a mutual agreement where when we can schedule the next meeting. But normally I tend to have a block of sessions, so the program itself it contains a block of sessions. It's customized again because depending on the customer needs, what he needs to work on. So the first session is a discovery session where we assess if we are a good fit to work together. We discuss a bit about their background a little bit, what they want to achieve, what is their main motivation for hiring a coach as well. And so we go through a few things, and then we move on to building a customized program for them that would tackle different parts of their the things that they want to work on. So yeah, it's pretty much customized. Some coaches, they have a pre-built program. However, I like to work on a customized program because yeah, every client is unique. So I like to adapt my resources to each individual.
That's great. I love that, the structure. And so that's one style of like routine there, is basically the whole, my goodness, excuse me, the whole coaching process. But also like in terms of your daily routines, your like spiritual practice, your routines of like
Right.
morning, like you tackle kind of like, so we can get both of the type of routines down.
Got it. Yeah, so I try as much as possible to wake up earlier every day because I like to meditate in the morning, and I'm doing some specific breathing exercises which balances my energy flow. That's one thing. Another thing, I listen different sleeping hypnosis audios when I go to sleep. One of my friend, Adrian Wesley, he recently launched a podcast where I pretty much bought into his program because he's just awesome, and I like the way I like the way he talks. I like his audio. So when I go to sleep, I just plug in with those hypnosis audio. It's pretty much motivational, building your um, good mood and wellness, and it's really, really cool. So it also helps me to sleep better. Apart from that, my routine. So yeah, I exercise 2-3 times a week. I think it's very important to do that because keeping in shape keeps the mind in shape. Yeah, pretty much these are the little practices that I incorporate in my day to day. I'm also vegan, which sometimes I get the banter from my friends because of this, but I'm quite proud of this, and I fully support the vegan lifestyle. Yeah, so apart from this, that's it.
Oh,
pretty
okay,
much.
awesome. So you mentioned a few things that I want to just ask. Like you said, you listen to audio, like podcasts and stuff. So I gotta look him up because I haven't heard of him. So if you could just like maybe just send me the name and the link, and I'll put that in the description as well. As
Okay.
for, is there any other recommendations for podcasts that you listen to?
Lately, I listen to only him. However, I do like the what's the name, the guy, the owner of not Gaia.com, the other one. Uh, sorry, I forgot. It's a like spiritual practice website where they have a lot of um, different programs for spiritual practices. Mind Valley, yeah, Mind Valley. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah,
heard of
Mind
Mind
Valley.
Valley.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
listened
so
to
it's
him
the guy
before.
who's yeah, I love him. He's so inspirational. So I recently read his book. Actually, it was an audiobook. The Code of the Extraordinary Mind is really awesome because it kind of feeds into what I'm believing in, like breaking those limiting beliefs, questioning your system of beliefs, things that you should always question instead of settling for, like pretty much getting your mind out of that comfort zone and keeping it active and aware of things. I love that. Uh, I'm a big supporter of that. It's something
That's
that I
awesome.
feel,
I haven't
yeah,
listened to that episode yet, so I gotta listen to that episode.
yeah,
So
it's
as
really cool.
for the diet part, you said you're vegan,
Yeah.
and so have you been doing this like pretty much all your life, or you at a time you just transitioned to become a vegan?
Well, I've been a vegetarian for 8 years before,
Oh, 8 years.
and one day, like I do most of my things. One day, I stopped eating cheese. I stopped being vegetarian, and yeah, I switched to vegan. And actually, I did a very good job because my energy level is definitely better, and mobility-wise, I'm definitely in a better place.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps
So
as well with clarity because it tends to. I tend to believe, and I heard this before, that you are what you eat. So eating animal products that they've been treated bad in farms, or you kind of get from that energy, so you become anxious as well. And I've experienced this. I've seen the difference before and after. So I'm the living product of that thing. I must say.
that's awesome. So after you transitioned to become a vegan, you said you have more clarity and you notice a difference. So what if, like, let's just say you have friends and family that eat meat, and then when you guys go out to eat, and then what if like there's could it could it be challenging sometimes, like in terms of going out to eat with people,
Yeah.
and do you like crave for meat sometimes or not at all?
Well, I must say I never liked meat. My mom cooks amazing. However, I never liked meat. It's something I was never attracted to. In terms of eating out with friends, it's always challenging. And family, I feel, is getting better. My mom started to actually cook specific things when I'm going home, so she got adapted to that slightly. But yeah, friends, I guess I also respect people's choices, and I expect them to do the same. So we are on different journeys, and there's no right or wrong. I feel it's only a choice. So um, let people live as they want, they say. If they come to you for advice, or they get inspired by your lifestyle, your choices, then you can open up a conversation. Otherwise, don't interfere. Let them have the space they need to grow in their own way.
That's so true. And so like in terms of um, the specific changes that so that's a few changes you went through in terms of like knowing what you want to focus on, and the nutrition part, and the exercise. So when it comes to like the more spiritual you get, like the more spiritual practice you do, the less meat you want to eat. Like just like with people that practice yoga, for a long time, and they meditate a lot, and they just kind of just started leaning off of the meat part. It's because they become like more in tune, more connected with nature.
Yeah, because essentially you attract what you are, they say. And let's say you are a different level of your vibration is in a certain level, you're going to attract people and situations, circumstances with the similar vibe, they say, the similar vibrational field, energy. If you change your frequency, it's like a tune into radio frequency, and then you're going to attract different situations, different people. I've experienced this when I finished my Reiki course. I have a Reiki master course, and when I finished that, I actually felt an energy shift. It was actually physical shift. I felt it. It was really interesting. And so what happened a few days after, some people, they just disappeared from my life. They just vanished. So things happen naturally. Don't never force them to happen. Things will just fall into place. But the change starts here, in your mind, your mindset, your choices, your beliefs, things that shape even the energy of your body and the physical appearance of your own
That's so
self.
true. And also eating more plant-based food, it helps with the skin and hair and everything else to be better. And as
Yeah,
for
definitely.
Reiki, I've asked this on my other episodes too, because I've heard somebody say not everybody can do Reiki, because sometimes people just are not naturally basically meant to do Reiki. So do you agree with that? Or you think, because some people say anybody can do Reiki as long as they study and they focus, they can practice. But some people say you can't, not everybody can.
Well, I think everybody can, as long as they have a good intention. Because it's a pure energy, and you should be a pure channel. That's how it connects. So if your intention is to just make money out of it, or see the like utilize it in a harmful way, I feel that energy is never gonna flow. It's just the way you communicate with the universe. The universe communicates back to you. It's just a constant flow, exchange of energy.
That's so true. As for like learning the practice and also applying it, working with others, doing Reiki, do you do them like online or do you do them in person?
I haven't looked into practicing this to make it a career. I mostly practice on my plants, myself, my friends, if they require that. So I haven't really used it on a larger scale.
Mm.
My mom, she's also doing Reiki, and I feel she's a bit stronger than me. Her energy is actually stronger because actually she's practicing more often than me as well.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, something it was just for my own personal growth. I haven't done the actual course for having a career, making a career out of it. No, I never thought of that.
I see. So when you're working with people, dealing with whether it's transformation coaching or your marketing business, or if you do eventually work with other people, well, I mean, you are working with your mom and family, friends, when you dealing with like negative energy or things that affect you, you can feel it. How do you like cleanse? How do you basically kind of get that off of your system once the session's done?
So yeah, because I'm practicing Reiki, I'm cleaning my space before and after. Uh, that's just because some people vibrational energy is a bit lower, and they tend to, without even wanting, so it's not intentional. They can kind of, there's an exchange of energy happening, which can drain you. And I find that sometimes when I travel by underground in London, because it interacts with so many people, and there are so many people around. They can drain your energy, simple as that. So yeah, it's good to just protect your energy somehow. The way I do it, I visualize I'm in a crystal globe of light, and when I do that, I look at people and they just stop looking at me. They just like suddenly they just mind their own business, which is really like instant. So I know it's working. I know for sure.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna have to try that.
Apart from that, what I've learned, things that can increase the level of your energy. First of all, don't eat before bed, 3-4 hours before bed. Alcohol is also a depressant. Things like this, you can listen to high frequency, like 543 hertz music, or like meditation music. That also uplifts your energy. Spend time in nature, eat unprocessed food. All these things, they help raise your vibrational level. Therefore, it gives you a better mood and more clarity as well.
Love that. Love that. Those are great tips. So what books do you recommend?
I read so many books. I totally lost the name of them. So the last book I read was the Code of the Extraordinary Mind, written by the owner of Mind Valley. It has a specific name which I cannot remember, unfortunately. It's it's not a European name, so I struggle with names outside Europe a little bit. But yeah, just the name of the book is The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. I used to listen a lot of audiobooks from Louise Hay, Deepak Chopra, and what's her name? The Law of Attraction. Abraham Hicks. Yeah, she's awesome. She has a lot of valuable information to share about how the universe works, how you can align yourself with the vortex, that space where you manifest, how to raise your energy level, and so on. She's pretty awesome. Yeah, so I'm pretty much inclined to read about personal development and spirituality. I feel these two departments are very much aligned with myself. But I'm also interested to know about technology or how the world evolves. So, but the main core interest, I'll say, are personal development and spirituality.
I love it. So thank you so much for sharing. And so how do people find you on like social media, on different channels, just in case, they liked what they hear, and then they want to book a call with you?
So I'm in the process of building a Facebook group, which I wanted to start from scratch and start to build content that people can access. So currently they can connect with me on Facebook, Monica Michelle. It might not be quite straightforward to find. However, I'm gonna leave my link in the podcast section of the comment. And also Instagram, Alkaline Living CEO. Currently I'm using only these two platforms. LinkedIn, I'm not gonna give you my LinkedIn. I'm joking. It's just a more professional environment. But if you want to look me up, it's my first name, family name, Monica Ciobanu. It's quite easy to find. I have my picture there. So yeah, these are my main platforms I use. So yeah, feel free to connect if you feel that my content was valuable to you and would like to see more of this.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That's a great session.
Thank you, Pan.
Thank you.
It's lovely speaking to you.
Nice, lovely speaking to you too.
Thanks.